Hey, hey. How's everybody doing tonight? Is everybody doing well? Crime Geek, Burn After Reading, good to see you, sir. I love marbles. Hello, Chaotic Beauty and Crime. Thank you guys for all coming. I went live a little bit early just because I'm ready. I went to dinner with the fam tonight. So we got done a little earlier than I thought we would. So I'm just going to do this now. Sorry for everyone that I did schedule this right over top. I try not to do that, but anymore there's so many channels that I watch, that I respect, that I want to see. And so then I'm like, I'll wait. And then by the time I wait, I'm too tired, or my daughter gets home and I can't use the closet. So I'm really limited by this closet situation right now. Hey, Taffy, sees through, Lake. Good to see you, Freckled Joy. Hello. I haven't seen you around in a minute. CD. Hello, sir. So yeah, this one is going to be, probably not going to make any friends, but, just whenever I feel led to say something, I say something. And, it's just how I do things. So, I found an article that I want to read, more like a blog. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen anybody showing it on the Delphi case, but it's really good, and it needs some attention and some reminders that were in there. And I think the only reason that I found it is because of the things that I was searching for, as far as just being sensible, and I pulled this, so I'm really hoping that we can I've got all these things on here, but this is actually Garth. This has been a pain in my whatever for a long time, but it's a rumor that Ed Bounds started. I immediately told him, other people told him, and he went ahead and released the information, and it just became truth, which is, that's how these things happen. And the Delphi case has just been next level ridiculous, just absolutely out of control, spiraling. And I get it, it's a messy, complicated, on the surface, because we really don't know anything as it should be. We shouldn't have the information that we have, but we do. I mean, so there's that, the double-edged sword of, you want your child's case to make major media and get the attention, because that does make a difference. It shouldn't, but it does. And so, but then on the other side of that, you've got everybody and their brother coming out and putting out all this kind of stuff, and throwing in their opinions, and those are like butts, we all got them. So it's just been, I don't know. I just felt like it was time to who's your cold cases? He's read, it's a book, I think it's called How to Solve a Murder, if I'm correct. He's talked about it on his channel. And yeah, there is also, it's on Audible. I'm sure it's on all the other ones, but there is a, let me find it. It is, oh, well, that's nice. All my library's gone. Wonder what I've done now. Oh, here it is. It's called Chase Darkness with Me. It's by Billy Jensen. He is a investigative reporter. He has a podcast with Paul Holes and Laura Richards, who is in my opinion, like obviously Billy Jensen and Paul Holes, love them. But Laura Richards has changed the game for getting a deeper understanding on domestic violence and the places that domestic violence leaves. Like there is a pattern to it, you know, a very clear pattern. And she's done an amazing job. So their podcast is incredible. It's what's the name of it? Dang it. I knew I was going to forget that. Real Crime Profile. So, podcast, not a YouTube. Hey, Sloopy. Hi. Hey, Fluzzy Bee. Hi, Ivy. Never silent. Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a minute. Hey, Hoosier. Were your ears burning? I was talking about you. But, you know, there is a way that, and Billy Jensen, I mean, read that book or get that audio. I learned so much. Such helpful information of how you can really be effective for families and law enforcement and not get in their way, you know, and not muddy. Like, it's just gotten so crazy. And I keep thinking that at one point, there's not going to be any crazier that could possibly come along. And then, what do you know? You know, the next person comes out, thinks they knows everything, and don't want to listen to anybody. And then there's all these wild things that come out. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, they become a fact. It's just, you know, like, I live in Indiana. I have family all that way. I know people in, you know, around there. Like there's just a lot of things that has kept me kind of quiet about Delphi with my own extended family. And yeah, lying facts, Crime Geek. Like it's like a oxymoron, you know, which oxymoron is one of those words that the two don't like for some reason. I mean, it literally just means like, you know, you could be, something can be horrific and it can be funny, you know, like it's like a tragic comedy, horrifically funny. But anyways, I'm going to get to, I want to read something just on a very simple, it is a medical term. That's where it started out, but it applies to any type of, it applies to this. That's why I'm reading it. But I heard about it because their Occam's razor and Hickham's dicum are medical terms. They're used. My daughter is a zebra. So the premise behind it is the simplest solution is usually the, you know, like that's where you go. So in the medical field, you know, they say when someone presents to the ER, you hear hoofbeats, meaning you look for the most common, you know, gas. Like if you think you're having a heart attack, let's make sure you're not, you know, obviously check that. But then, you know, like just diagnosis that makes sense. And then there are those zebras that are really rare. And I know that because I have one, my daughter, and they kind of do get missed sometimes, but because their doctors are trained to hear hoofbeats. This is the little saying that they use, but sometimes they're zebras. But for the most part, there is. It's just, this is what it is. This is the simplest solution. This is probably what it is. Now we're going to confirm that diagnosis. And then there we go. Now, then you get a child like mine that comes in. They present with 12 different like body system issues. And they've got to like, oh, this is a zebra. Okay. But that is the exception to the rule. And let me just read this. Hi, Todd. Hey, Butterfly Kisses. Thank you for being here. Yeah. Yes. Yes, it is. So, let me just share my screen so you guys can see what I'm reading. And before we get into all of this, I found a new cup tumbler person. You guys all know how I love tumblers, which I forgot my drink. I'm going to have to pause and go get that. But her name, her channel, let me pull it up right now, is, her link tree is already in there. I wanted to do that before I forgot. Oh, I knew it was going to do that. I had one of my favorites that was pulled up. I just ordered. Can you guys see everything? Can you hear me? Let me pull it up on my phone. I never get notifications for my own channel. I don't think maybe if I subscribe to my own channel, I would get like notifications. This makes it easier to find. So I'm trying to find the chat. Okay. You see it? You hear me? You all good? Hey, GP. Hey, Deb. Thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate it. Okay. So look at these cups. Are those not so cool? Like, she does this. It's all like by hand. Like, it is so cool. I watch the videos because I find them to be super relaxing. But yeah, so I've ordered, everybody that's been on my channel, for however, I don't know how long I've been on here, maybe a couple years now, I think. I think March I had an anniversary that I missed. But, and then before that, I had the podcast. So, I ordered a cup from someone else, and I basically got like really ripped off. Now, the one that I ordered from Gray, it's badass. I love my Freaks cup, and so does my daughter for some reason. She keeps using it. But my one that I got for Cold Truth, I had to just, it was such a mess, but, yeah, so I'm going to have her do a new one, but the ones that I just ordered are for my doggy. So the ones that are been here, about Doberman and how much he meant to me and how amazing of a dog he was. So she is going to put my pups, we're going to put the little one on there, just a little, he's such a monster. But he's a funny guy, but he's got like, we're really close to getting a diagnosis for him. I knew something was going on, but it's called like congenital behavioral dysfunction disorder, where basically the reason why he was good for so long was because he had Doe to mirror. And now that Doe's gone, he just can't get it together. He's just wild. He's just unruly. But inside the house, in his environment, he's a really good dog. But as soon as we leave the front door, it is a disaster. And that's part of the neuronal type things that fall in the diagnosis that we're working on for him, which will make everything make so much sense. But yeah, so I watch these a lot. Where's the one? It is so cool. She has on the link tree that's posted in there. She's got, this one here. Oh, a little loud. Sorry. With the girl. There's one that was, maybe it's a video.
My parents got
divorced here we go.
And my mom was dating this guy. He broke up with my mom and started dating.
That guy is funny though. There's these videos where she's like making it. Yeah, these. I don't know. I get entertained by this kind of stuff. Like just watching it, just like the art of it is so cool. That's why I always enjoy True Crime Recliner, like I like to watch this kind of stuff. But yeah, isn't that cool? So I'm going to be getting a couple of those, and then I'm going to have her do my channel one, and I know she's going to do so awesome on it. But I just wanted to share that with you, like local, Indiana, like these cups are beautiful, just bringing some attention to, you know, some small businesses in America, you know, and just kind of highlight that. And of course, y'all will see mine when I get it. All right. And now where am I at? And her YouTube is on that link tree that I put in there too. I thought I named it. It's weird. Okay. Okay, so just a brief synopsis. This is Abigail Williams and Liberty German. Abby was 13, Libby was 14, and they went missing on February 13th of 2017 while walking along Monon High Bridge in Delphi, Indiana, County of Carroll. Their bodies were found the next day. In October of 2022, Richard Allen, 50, of Delphi, Indiana, was arrested and charged with 2 counts of murder of Abigail Williams and Liberty German. The case is still ongoing. A bail hearing is set for Allen for June 15th and 16th at 8:30 a.m. And a jury trial has not been set on this case at this time. Okay, so that's just a little, this is why we're here. This is the memorial park that the families have, in spite of their grief and pain and loss, they have created something that is the legacy of the children that they lost that day. And so, you know, like, please go and like that page and support them in any way that you can. That's not it. Yeah, I'll grab the link for that. I meant to do it earlier. Never pops up. There it is. Here's her link. Oh, thanks, Ivy. She already did it. She on it. Hey, Randy. Hey, Lisa. Hey, Jack Green. Sharon, Cindy. Good to have you all. Yeah. Sorry. Sorry about that. I hit the wrong thing. But okay, so this first thing that I'm going to read is those simple terms. How to use Occam's razor without getting cut. Occam's razor is one of the most useful yet misunderstood models in your mental toolbox to solve problems more quickly and efficiently. Here's how to use it. Occam's razor, also known as the law of parsimony, is a problem-solving principle which serves as a useful mental model. A philosopher razor is a tool in a philosophical razor is a tool used to eliminate improbable options in a given situation. Occam's is the best known example. Occam's razor can be summarized as follows. Among competing hypotheses, the one with the fewest assumptions should be selected. The basics. In simpler language, Occam's razor states that the simplest explanation is preferable to one that is more complex. Simple theories are easier to verify. Simple solutions are easier to execute. In other words, you should avoid looking for excessively complex solutions to a problem and focus on what works, given the circumstances. Occam's razor can be used in a wide range of situations as a means of making rapid decisions and establishing truths without empirical evidence. It works best as a mental model for making initial conclusions before the full scope of information can be obtained. Science and math offer interesting lessons that demonstrate the value of simplicity. For example, the principles of minimum energy supports Occam's razor. This facet of the second law of thermodynamics states that wherever possible, the use of energy is minimized. Physicists use Occam's razor in the knowledge that they can rely on everything to use the minimum energy necessary to function. A ball at the top of a hill will roll down in order to be at the point of minimum potential energy. The same principle is present in biology. If a person repeats the same action on a regular basis in response to the same cue and reward, it will become a habit, as the corresponding neural pathway is formed. From then on, their brain will use less energy to complete the same action. The concept of Occam's razor is credited to William of Occam, a 14th century friar, philosopher, and theologian. While he did not coin the term, his characteristic way of making deductions inspired our writers to develop the heuristic. I don't know how to say that word. Indeed, the concept of Occam's razor is an ancient one. Aristotle, love him, produced the oldest known statement of the concept, saying, quote, "We may assume the superiority, other things being equal, of the demonstration which derives from fewer postulates and or hypothesis." Robert expanded on Aristotle's writings in the 1200s that is better and more valuable, which requires fewer, other circumstances being equal, for if one thing were demonstrated from many and another thing from fewer equally known premises, clearly that is better, which is from fewer, because it makes us know quickly, just as a universal demonstration is better than particular because it produces knowledge from fewer premises. Similarly, in natural science, in moral science, and in metaphysics, the best is that which needs no premise, and the better that which needs the fewer other circumstances being equaled. Nowadays, Occam's razor is an established mental model which can form a useful part of the lattice work of knowledge. I'm not getting into all of those, but I wanted to read this one by Albert Einstein because I really enjoy him. Albert Einstein referred to Occam's razor when developing his theory of special relativity. He formulated his own version. Quote, "It can scarcely be denied that the supreme goal of all theory is to make the irreducible basic elements as simple and few as possible without having to surrender the adequate representation of a single datum of experience. Everything should be made as simple as possible, but not simpler." So that's what Occam's razor is. And a lot more of it needs to be going on in the Delphi case. I mean, it is just getting crazy. It's absurd. It's I don't even know. Okay, so there was one thing that I wanted to read about this one here. I'm not going to read the whole thing. These are great. I'm going to put them in. These links will be in the description after the live is over. My computer's so slow. I think that... Cold cases have long attracted... Read all these ads. Long attracted hangers on, like Renner. James Renner, I know you guys have heard of him, who worked for years on solving, in quotes, the crime, but never do. In cases that broke before the advent of the internet sleuthing, they often called themselves private investigators, in quotes for sure, which represented a shockingly diverse category. Now many of these people gather on the internet, posting on sites like Renner's. The result is a complicated morass of uncontrolled speculation. Uncontrolled speculation. It certainly isn't justice, not for Murray or for her family. I'm frankly surprised that a major publishing house decided to release Renner's book. After all, crime addicts such as James Renner rarely, if ever, solve crimes. They are drawn to the most dramatic possibilities and ignore more tedious solutions. Oh, bleh. Like that's where things are going awry in true crime in general. Because when, I mean, it's just it's a simple concept. It's Occam's razor. There's an example of it in the true crime. For all that Renner has written on Maura Murray's case, both his book and online, I've never seen him seriously investigate the most plausible theory that, fearing a DUI arrest, Murray walked away from her car in the New Hampshire cold, got lost, and died. The woods are thick up there. A body could disappear. Now, I am not a Maura Murray case expert. I know there are many other ones. One of the Murray people, Matt's, whatever his name was, he's the one that really screwed me over, and basically I got conned by him, sent him $150 and for a website, and he disappeared with the money. So yeah, I don't know that, I don't necessarily have an opinion on Renner like clearly the person that wrote this article does, but the main thing was just the simplest, just another way of like looking at it, And I think I decided to just give this one, to you guys to read, because I found that other one. And this is a lot like these articles, like in that How to Catch Keller by Billy Jensen. If you do get that book or Kindle or Audible or whatever, like I'm telling you guys, like it's really good. But you're gonna have to put on your Occam's razor hats instead of the Hickam Dicam for sure. But this is the one that is about Delphi. It is written by Aja Romano. Um, yeah, it's good, and it hits on some points. And then I'm going to break down some uh, baseless fact rumors, that I've seen as of late. It usually does no good, but like maybe it will help just like one person, and that's always been my thing. Um, the Delphi murders were a local tragedy. Then they became a true crime. The photo in my inbox sit 3 eerie, unsolicited photographs of a crime scene. The photos, not graphic but disturbing all the same, were allegedly taken at the scene of the Delphi murders, the double homicide of 2 best friends, Abigail Williams, 13, and Liberty German, 14, in rural Delphi, Indiana in 2017. The whistleblower who sent them to me, as he calls himself, runs one or several of the slew of anonymous accounts who've recently been contacting reporters, YouTubers, and true crime podcasters in an effort to get someone to publish these allegedly exclusive photos. The assumption is that as a reporter who covers these stories and an admitted true crime fan myself, I'd be interested. I'm not. But this is one of the things that happens when a murder or murders in America stops being a local tragedy and becomes true crime. It is extremely difficult to describe Delphi. Delphi, here encompassing the murders of the town, the investigation, the online community of true crime enthusiasts following it, and all of their complex interactions with one another. Yeah, we know about those. It's too vast and tragic to put into words, and also too messy and complicated. Of all the recent big cases, Delphi has developed an entire true crime ecosystem of communities, all wanting justice for 2 tragically murdered girls, and all too often at odds with each other in their pursuit of it. It's easy to see why. I think I can play this while I read. Why it was given so big a complex, with both images and audio of the alleged killer making quickly available to the public. This was a case primed for virality and all that goes with it. 6 years, 2 separate witness sketches, a long chain of hotly debated suspects, multiple side investigations into different crimes, a massive online sideshow, and one strangely unsatisfying arrest later of a local man who made himself known to police on the very first day. Delphi is still a troubling, disturbing mystery. As difficult as Delphi is to stare directly at, however, it is worth making the attempt because, as eerie and ugly as it is, this case is significant. Not just for the complex ecosystem that has formed around it, but because, in all its messiness, it points the way toward the complicated future of true crime itself. Carroll County, Indiana, where tiny Delphi, population of 2,972, which is just about accurate right now. Think about that number. It's very important. So is the number in Flora. It's around 2,000 residents, okay? Is located. Is as rural as it gets. It is. Near the northern edge of town lies the Monon High Bridge Trail, an easy walking path that runs southwest to the Monon High Bridge, an abandoned railroad trestle. It's a massive 853 feet long structure and the second tallest bridge in the state, and has no railing. A slip and fall, a tumble through one of the many missing rail ties on the bridge, and it's a sheer drop of 63 feet to the creek below. While the terrifying bridge is technically off limits to the public, it's reality. It's a cool hangout spot. On February 13, 2017, a sunny Monday afternoon, best friends Abigail Williams and Liberty German asked German's older sister to drop them off at the trail. According to German's grandmother, German and her older sister frequently hung out at the bridge, hiking and taking photos, so it wasn't a concern for Big Sis to drop the girls off shortly before 2 p.m. and be on her way. German's father intended to pick them up in an hour or two after he was done with his afternoon errands. As the girls were crossing the bridge, German turned back and posted several photos to Snapchat, including the one of Williams minding her steps. I hike, and like especially if you're crossing a creek, like on a like there's a log across a creek, and you're gonna walk on it. I am not coordinated in the least, and but having a jacket on and putting my hands in my pockets and outstretching my hands, which it looks like Abby is doing right here, it does help with your balance. Try it out sometime. You'll be surprised. The girls walk to the southeast end of the bridge, and at which point the trail effectively ends, petering out into the undergrowth. And when they say undergrowth, yeah, it's not like there's just like a little trail, like a path that's just going to meander back behind the bridge over to the Weber's property and on down, and just like, next thing you know, you're going to end up at Wilson's Bridge or anywhere. Like you're not going that way. So now you've got two choices on the side of the bridge. And, that's what the law enforcement has told us. So, that's the most logical, sensible Occam's razor of a solution of like what happened. They were told to go down the hill, and they did. They went down the hill. The girls walked to the southeast end of the bridge, at which point the trail effectively ends. I already read that, didn't I? German's camera briefly captured footage of a burly man in a blue coat and jeans walking along the bridge towards them. As German continued recording, what started as speculation turned to fear, as a 2022 arrest affidavit eventually revealed one of them, likely Williams' murmured gun, as the man approached. Trapped between the man and the woods, with a steeply sloping hill on either side and no way back across the bridge because he was on the bridge, the girls were effectively cornered. He says, "Guys," he orders them down the hill. A 2017 search warrant revealed in 2022 confirmed the existence of a chilling 43-second video of almost total silence following these words, during which the girls were seemingly marched to their deaths. By the time German's father reportedly called her at 3:11 p.m. to say he was on his way to pick them up, the girls had likely already been abducted. The families quickly formed search parties at 5:20. German and Williams were officially reported missing. And this is one that really, I saw this today and it really forking pissed me off. How were they all available so soon that they were able to get there? Like, what were they doing that they were all available so quickly? Let your child go missing and see how fast you gather up your family and get your ass there. Get out of here. Come on, people. That was a ridiculous thing I ever heard. Numerous people were on High Bridge Trail that day. Several of them came forward that same afternoon, but none of them reported seeing what happened to Williams and German. Around noon the next day, Valentine's Day, 2017, the girls were found lying about a half a mile from the bridge across a stretch of private property by the creek. A widely accepted but as yet unconfirmed details of what happened to them are horrific and bizarre, with some authorities believing the bodies could have been moved and staged. We know where that came from, and that was from a profiler that wrote the Ron Logan affidavit. There are things in there that are obviously it shouldn't have been leaked. You know, people that don't understand investigations and trials shouldn't be given things that they can, you know, just like take off with. However, there are some things that we can glean from that, since we do have it, that are going to be true regardless of the who the search warrant was for. Moved and staged the things that they were looking for a knife. I went through that on an episode that I did. You can go back and listen to that. And I also talked about the Indiana statutes and the what's it called, the basically where it is breaks down all of the homicide, murder. Indiana is just has murder. I don't know why it's so hard to grasp. Like, I get it. I wish that we were more like other states where people could understand it, but, you know, guess we ought to be different. But murder is the intentional killing of another with forethought, which pre-planned. That's what that means. So murder is just, you know, and the sentences on murder are anything from death down to I think the least amount is 45, something like that, for murder, which is premeditated. And the section 2 is what, like, if you are, it's an aggravating circumstance to be kidnapped, which is, I think, is the most likely plausible thing, because the girls were ordered down a hill. They were taken from one place that they were happily at, taking pictures and minding their own business. Some jackbag comes along and he makes them go to another place, and then he kills them. That's what happened. And that could be considered kidnapping. And, you know, like that's it. There's nothing else to it. If there's other characters involved, so be it. But doesn't change the statute. It doesn't change the meaning of the statute. So, you know, like, it is what it is. So frustrating. Around noon the next day, Valentine. Okay, so I read that part. But this is just one of the myriad speculations in a case that became a many-headed hydra of wearing beliefs, agendas, and endless theories with few answers. Let's stop at agendas. I hope to God nobody signs up to do Greeno's freaking movie. He can call it a documentary or whatever, but it's not. It's ridiculous. To go out there, take two girls that look like them, and recreate. I don't care what you're doing it for. You can, Gray has a great, you know, like, you don't need all that shit. That's ridiculous. That's disgraceful. It's disgusting. Nobody should watch it. Nobody should be in it. Nobody should help him film it. It's creepy, and it's shameful to do that. Like, we need to know our role here on YouTube. Like, that is not it. He has no degree in anything that makes him qualified to do any of that. He's just a con artist that people keep giving money so he can buy cameras and then turn around and leave them at somebody's house while he goes to jail, and then he gets out and sues them for his stuff. Like, you can't just go willy-nilly all around town couch surfing and then expect everybody just to hold on to your shit. It's absolutely ridiculous. But this is the fact that he's going to remake that. The first one was just sick. It was sick. And it really upset. I know it really upset Anna. And the rumors that he started about Anna really upset her, obviously. And they really upset a lot of reasonable people that know that nobody's messing with him. There isn't a long list of women out there that he's rejected. Come on. Like, But that's what he likes to say. If a woman comes out against him, he's going to be like, well, they tried to hit on me and I rejected them. Like, Cheyenne don't want you. Anna don't want you. I don't want you. Like, nobody should want you. You are an abuser. Still waiting to be arrested, you know? Like, just can't. A frustrating conundrum, an abundance of leads, and no suspect in sight. The Delphi murder should have been easy to solve. Law enforcement had a full, if blurry, video of the perpetrator, plus a recording of his voice. Surely someone in such a small town community would recognize him immediately, right? That's not what happened. Using the footage German captured of the abduction in progress, police quickly released the now famous double photo of the man on the internet has been dubbed Bridge Guy. The 9 days after the murder, police released an audio recording of Bridge Guy, now officially named suspect, saying down the hill. This was arguably the moment when Delphi stopped being solely a hometown tragedy and entered the annals of true crime fame. With the eerie disembodied audio, complete with the pixelated image of the killer, swept across media outlets nationwide, galvanizing interest in the tragic story of two young friends who died brutally side by side. The day after the release of the recording, police had to divert tips into the case to a national call center run by the FBI's Major Case Contact Center. By early March, the case had received over 11,000 leads from across the country. Think about that number. I consider Delphi to be that first case that landed speed record into terms of interest in it at once. Defense attorney Bob Mata, who hosts the Defense Diaries podcast, tells Vox, this is the rare case that law enforcement wanted to go viral. Police turned to the wider public in the hopes of generating leads, and when public interest waned, they kept the case on the national media radar by doling out new tidbits of information. This is basically what this is saying. Law enforcement had a strategy. Everybody was like, well, they want us to solve it, but they're not giving us the information. They weren't asking you to solve it. Like, if you know the person, then you know the person. Like, it's not asking you to dig up, every Tom, Dick, and Harry person, because the whole town, like, if you take out the women, you take out the children and the elderly, the rest of them, find me a few that don't wear that outfit, especially in rural Carroll County. I mean, I could make 3 of those outfits in the man's closet right now, At the same time, the police seemed to clamp down hard when it came to providing vital context for the info they shared. Even 6 years later, there's scant information on the official ISP tip page. The little information the police did reveal was often confusing, yes, very, baffling, yes, even contradictory, absolutely. This limbo left the public with no real guidelines for how to be helpful. Which may have rendered them anything but. You catch that? The first police sketch in the chaos it awakened on July 17th of 2017 released a sketch citing Kim Riley informed the public at a press conference. And let me just pause a minute on Kim Riley. I'm not real sure, like, what the qualifications are for being the public, like, information officer. But Kim Riley is not from, people just get, like, hang on every word that he said and every little miss thing. But you got to remember that first, when it was him and Tobe, and I believe Captain Burston, Delphi, like, captain of police, Tobe Lesenby, sheriff for Carroll County, and then Kim Riley, the spokesperson at that time for the Indiana State Police. Well, you can clearly tell if you really watch that, like, he doesn't know the area. So he says a few things that are not correct, and people have just clung on to him like Kim Riley's just got it all. And he said a lot that is confusing. They have, like Doug Carter, when he said that, it's so complicated and involved, and he can't wait to tell this story, and like everyone's going to be shocked. Well, listen here, like, I can't. Doug Carter must not follow true crime. Like he must not be in these communities, and probably save his blood pressure not to. Most law enforcement, I can't, and because I know that they implement it in their investigations, so they have to, like, I've known a few, and like they have to be in these groups, and listen to this stuff, just to be diligent. And he underestimated the imagination of the true crime community. He just really did. And so I believe that is why the arrest of Richard Allen was underwhelming. I think it's shocking that he was working right there at the CVS, handing out the whole town's prescriptions, because that was the only place you can get them in Delphi, is through him. So you got to think that he has, like, anyone that had a prescription came in there to get medication, and he in the store working right next to his face, hanging out in bars right next to his own face. Like, that's shocking. that's that's so crazy. But it's not enough. It's never gonna be enough with this case. And at some point you just have to draw a line of, like, we're gonna find out one day. Like, probably in 3 years. I guarantee you that's how long this is gonna take. And it's gonna be torture for the families. But that's how long it's going to, that's just how the justice system works. As long as the defendant doesn't ask for a speedy trial that is within 90 days, which he already has not done. They pushed his bail hearing out because of the large, like, this is a good hint. This is a good thing right here. But they received the discovery from the state, and they're like, whoa, like, we need time to, like, look at all of this. Everything was done properly, okay, in that whole thing. And so they pushed the bail hearing to June. And on the like, I seeing that picture of Richard Allen, like, he has not been convicted and sentenced for this case. He allegedly, like, it's an alleged, but they had enough that they can reasonably say that a jury of his peers would convict him of murder. Obviously, as soon as there is a arrest, and then you have that initial hearing, you get your public defender. Now you've got a defense, and now you got a prosecution. And from here on out, it's a game of chess. It's not about, a lot of times, it's not about the truth. It's about what can be proved in a court of law. Do I agree with that? Do I like that? No. But that's how it is. That's just how it is. It's strategy. And but one thing is clear: the man is deteriorating. He's lost a lot of weight in a very short amount of time, if you think about it. Like, you look up how much weight you should lose healthily, and for him to drop from what we saw at the last hearing to now. He had lost weight at that one compared to the one before. But that picture alone, whether they made him look a little bit more, messy and blah, 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 like, it's undeniable that man has lost a tremendous amount of weight. And regardless of how anyone feels, justice doesn't care about your emotions or what you think things should be. Doesn't give a fork. It's logically we want him to get the best treatment that he possibly can. Like, emotionally, is that not what, like, I don't, but we all have constitutional rights as American citizens, and we should be proud of the fact that we're American citizens, by the way. And there are things that you have a right to. He has a right to be taken care of in a reasonable manner, and that is exactly what happened. And hopefully that doesn't end up in some Lori Vallow crazy land. You see anybody that follows that, like, just follow that a little bit, you see what all, what can go just, with the competency to stand trial. That word right there, when we see that word starting to come in, just plan on years, Yeah, there was part, I think this is part I was going to skip. Yes, here we go. Following Carter's interview, ambivalence from law enforcement again enabled the web sleuths to fill in the gaps with chaos. On numerous subreddits and other forums, hordes of leakers touted exclusive insider intel and spout arcane theories built around regional gossip and local politics. Law enforcement cover-ups, drug ring conspiracies, sheriffs with tunnel vision, former prosecutors with vendettas, officers maligned for doing their jobs too well, and investigation driven more by the vicissitudes of local elections rather than a pursuit of justice. Every murder in a small town trope you could foist onto one crime. To even be able to read most of the Delphi forums, you have to learn a glossary of acronyms and shorthand lingo. And an endless parade of other people referred to only by their initials. Anyone who surmounts that barrier to entry in already more likely to be invested in the case and more likely to find themselves joining in the rampant, furious finger pointing that accompanies it. I'm just going to pause right here. We don't have a right to the information. Everybody acts like they're entitled, or like we're acting like a bunch of 2-year-olds at Walmart. Like, get over yourself. I'm not important. You're not important. Like, it's just not. Check creators. We're just people. Like, there are some that have been served and they've been detected, like True Crime Web. We got LA now. We've got Ruckus. There's CD. There are some law enforcement, but there's also been some fake ones. There's been some fake ones. There was one up in the group who pretended to be a CSI crime tech, and then the next week she's a forensic this or that. It was all fake. You want to know what she was? She was a hairdresser, just like me. Like, she made it all up. For what reason? I don't know. Same reason Greeno makes shit up, Like, but this stuff happens. Like, this Coffindoffer lady, oh my gosh. Like, she's crazy. And I'm sorry, but here's how you can, like, break her down. If you want to break her down, okay, like, into, like, make more sense of that woman. Like, if she, I think she is FBI, blah, 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 profiler, whatever. What is she doing telling a bunch of people online anything about the case? What is she doing? Like, that is not professional. That is not ethical. That is not like anything good. So she should just be ignored. Just ignore her. She's dumb. Like, she's got the dumbest ideas ever. It's so ridiculous. I might need to take a break and check in with the chat. Hey, Gray. Thanks for popping by. I'm about to have a... Need to take a break and... Whew. But I try to be, you know, like... Yeah. That psycho. There's so many psychos that have attacked these families. And, oh my God, they're so inconsistent. Nah. Like, I am so sick of it. I'm just so sick of it. Like, okay, so here's the new one. This is really easy. Like, okay, this is called Beacon right here. You type in Beacon, and usually it just pops right up. Like, you don't need to worry about all this other stuff. But this is so. Let me just show you how to do this here. Like, we'll just open a new one. We'll go to Beacon. This is the website. Then what you want to do, mine's already set to Carroll County, but you may have to pick Indiana and then pick Carroll County. And then we're going to go to address right here, and we're going to put in 103 Columbia Street. Where's that? Oh, I spelled it wrong. Anybody know that address? You should. This is where four little babies lost their lives. This is a case that I have been researching, and it's going to take me a while because when I do it, I want to do it right. And I feel like there is the same thing going on with Flora that's been going on with Delphi. And there's all of this, like, as big and as complicated as you can make it. But it's like the forest for the trees. Like, look at this. Like, what is the simplest, like, conclusion that can be made on this Flora case? And, like, nobody seems to be really concentrating on that for some reason. But here's what it's not. This was the one that was being spread about in chats and things. Okay, so this, when you pull this up, you're going to come to, you can see who owns it. You know, this was where Galen and her beautiful girls lived. And this is the ownership transfers. This is the transfer history. So now, you know, Troy and Josh became Birch Tree Holdings. They own a ton of stuff in Carroll County. And then you see like assessment here. But it only goes to 2019. So that doesn't help us, does it? So what we do is we go all the way to the bottom of it. And then you click on... Is it this one or the other one? No, it's the other one. There's two things that you can click on here. And this one right here. Okay, so let's look at just one simple thing on this page. I want you to look at this. Appraised value. January 1st, 2016. So they have simply added these numbers together, and it's $44,200. January 1st of 2017, $44,200. Where does the comma go? This house was not appraised at some $400,000 by Becky Patty. And then you can clearly see, like, this 2018, it stayed the same. 2019, it stayed the same. And then we start getting into 2020 when obviously, like, I mean, I would kind of like, well, it should be lower because the fire was in 2016. But, you know, like, obviously look at the decline come 2020, 13,600, you know. So this is the appraisal information. This is the house, and in my opinion, It's been appraised properly. Like $44,200 is a very reasonable amount for the condition of this home, which, like in the like look at the contract, and you just, like there's so much there, but like this is one of the rumors that is simply false. And everybody's like, oh, well, you just think everything's a coincidence. Coincidences are real. Like, they happen to you every single day of your life. Like, yeah, it is strange. But when you take in the account of demographics and population and how rural it is, and remember how many people I just said, that article said like 2,000 and some for both Flora and Delphi? Everybody's gonna know everybody. That's small town living. Like, you can read about that in any case. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody's interconnected. Everybody knows somebody that knows somebody. Somebody's gonna be on somebody's friends list. It's just the way it is. It's not. It doesn't mean anything. And for people to be so pissed off at the families for having inconsistencies, it's irrational. Of course they're going to have inconsistencies. If they didn't, it would be suspicious. If they came out to the public, first time you hear them, day one and day two, and they have what sounds like a script that Kelsey and Becky and Mike and Cody and Anna and her parents and all of the family were saying the exact same thing across the board with no deviation, that would have been suspect. But what isn't suspect is a family that immediately went to social media before on the 13th and were like gathering the troops. Everybody, like there's people on the outskirts that don't know anybody, of course. But most of that town, it's tight knit. When somebody is in trouble, they all come. And that's exactly what happened. And of course your family is going to show up. How ridiculous are you for even saying that? And you know who you are. Like, that's absurd. You want to tell me that your kid's missing and your family, your immediate family and your extended family and every friend you got, firefighter, police officer, whoever the hell it is, isn't going to be there with you? Get out of here. Like, get the fuck out. Like, that's so ridiculous. It's just things like this. This family has been mowed over, just ridicule. They can't do anything right. It's so ridiculous. And to be upset about their inconsistencies, fork you. Like, what right do you have? What right do you have to be so pissed off at law enforcement and the families? You're not an entitled little Walmart kid throwing a fit. Like, get over yourself. Everybody, like, me too. But to publicly blame everybody in the family and they're all involved in these big conspiracies, and now we're going to pull Flora into it too, and they're involved in that, and there's this big, crazy ridiculousness. Well, they're not cleared. Well, that's law enforcement's choice. Do you think that Doug Carter would sit there at the presser and say all of those things to the family? Like, and you know what? It doesn't matter if it ends up being a family member. I am never going to feel bad about not dragging them through the mud until it is proven that they are the one, like they're the person that did it in any case that I ever cover. Until it is proved, like, hey, he's arrested. Nakota Kelly's father. He's a piece of shit. He killed his son, he dismembered him, and he put his son in 3 different states. He's a piece of shit. And I'm going to talk about him because it's being adjudicated right now. But these people are innocent. Like, there is no proof anywhere that these families had anything to do with this. And all of these people think they are entitled to dig into their business all because they think they're inconsistent. Of course they're inconsistent. Duh. Like, hello. You've got... Put yourself in their shoes. Imagine that it is your daughter. She's not answering her phone. She always answers her phone. They always answer their phone. These were good girls. Regardless of all the shit that people are saying about them online and their activities online, these were two good girls that were loved by their families and by their community, their school, their teachers. They were smart. They were involved. What right do you have to try to destroy just the sheer shit that they have had to take and put up with for having a memorial park, to have a legacy of the love and what those two little girls shared with the world when they were in it for the short amount of time that they had them? And you're going to come along and think that you have the right to criticize and blame them? Sit down and shut up. I'm so sick of it. I don't... Okay. Say this case, another case that I cover, it ends up being the parents. You will never hear me apologize for sticking up for them. Never. I would rather be wrong, instead of dragging a family member through the mud without evidence, without knowing shit about what they're involved in. You don't really know anything. All these people think that they've got it figured out. They know everything. Oh, there's bodies in the water. Like, I watched this freaking ridiculousness. I don't know how he didn't just get off and been like, F you. Like, there's bodies in the water. Like, there's clearly about... No, there's not. Like, what? It's just like every time you turn around, there's something crazy. And as far as the photos, do I think that we should have access to those photos? No, I don't. Do I think that they're probably real? Yeah, I do. Like somebody went around and delivered onto people's cars, onto someone's car, and a whole packet of information, of leaked things that should never have been publicly released, because people don't understand it. They don't know how to put that stuff in its place inside of a case, a case that like you've got a couple documents that can give you clues, but at the same time you have to realize that there were so many search warrants. And there were search warrants that they just went up and they knocked on the place and said, and they asked for permission, and people said, yes, go ahead. They searched. They didn't find anything. Guess what? You're not going to see it in my case. And if they did, then they're going to stop right where they are. Then they're going to get that paperwork done real quick, get it before a judge, get it signed, and go straight back into that house. That's how that shit works. But I forgot to end my point on the families with the blaming of them. Like, when you are in, you imagine yourself, your child is, you don't know where they are. It's getting dark. It's getting colder. They were supposed to be somewhere. They knew that they were supposed to be somewhere. And then when they weren't there, like, it was an automatic, like, something's wrong. And they acted so quickly. Can you imagine? Imagine the darker, the later, the more hours that went by, the fear, the adrenaline, the panic, the overwhelming anxiety that you would feel if that were your child. Now imagine trying the next day, you're trying to search again. You got people saying you did it all wrong. Like, who the fork cares if Mike Patty thought that getting in a canoe and looking for them in the dark He's probably a hunter, so he probably has the lights for it. But who the fork cares? He's trying to do anything and everything that he can to find his daughter or granddaughter. Like, I digress. So put yourself in that position. This is your child, and you are just frantically trying to think of anything and everything that you can. And so is your, the aunt of the girls. So is the grandmother and the grandfather of the girls. So is the mom, the dad, the sister, the brother, the uncle, the aunt. All of them are in the same amount of panic and anxiety and fret and worry. And they're trying not to think of the worst case scenario. But worst case scenario came true the next day. And now you are, imagine that's your child that you just found out is murdered. You're never going to see him again. That's it. They're gone. Somebody took their life. And you don't really have time to grieve because you have to plan a funeral. And I don't know if anybody has actually planned a funeral. But it's the worst forking process you'll go through. It's tedious, it is time consuming, and it's expensive. And there's a zillion questions that you would have never thought that you needed to know. And picking out poems and picking out like how to best describe this person in 120 words and bidding pictures and like all of those, they're immediately thrown into that. They're still like literally like losing a child is the worst pain that we as humans would ever experience. It is losing a grandchild, like insurmountable. You can't even put yourself there, okay? And then now the stages of grief start coming into play. And now, who did this? Who is this monster? We got to find him. We need justice. And so what did they do? They immediately turned around and they tried to correct the timeline of all of them saying different things. That's why you're seeing inconsistencies. And please remember that Kelsey was a kid. She was a kid. I don't care if you like her, if you don't like her. All of this BS about her being involved is stupid. People that say that on their channels are stupid. And you should just not watch them. Do what you want, but that's just my opinion. Yeah, and these forking people, like, why does everybody think they're so damn special? Like, you want to see running a narrative? I mean, honestly, let's talk about it. What Tony Klein? Yeah, I think he's a piece of shit. Like, if the people that talked about him were telling the truth, yeah, he's a real piece of shit. But to drag him and literally accuse him of double murder and then being in on some plot with Kagan Klein and Richard Allen. Like, and they call themselves reporters and lawyers? I'm sorry, but that right there is just kind of like strike one. And then they just kept going with it, like they have put this agenda on everyone and influenced the way that people think. And it's irresponsible for what they purport to be. It's irresponsible. And, yeah. despite Kane's long journalism career, and perhaps because they began as true crime fans, some sleuths see them as little more than glorified Redditors. Yeah. Some people don't, though. Then there's the issue of money. The podcasts of Self-Sustaining and Kane and Greenlee have recently gone full-time. That move, in turn, invites criticism that podcasters are exploiting tragedy for personal gain. Yet the Murder Sheet is far from the only monetized true crime project, and I'm one of them, and I think that the person that I looked up to the most when I decided to monetize my channel was Gray Hughes. If I can help, like, true crime communities, if I can help RAIN and Sheltering Wings for domestic violence with any money that I make off of my Greeno coverage, that's a good day. Because that's who I donate it to, and then all of the money that we've been able to, like, when you could give back, like, I think that's the best way to responsibly try, and then to just stay Occam's razor, and I get it. I know that Occam's razor, I think Gray, and I know, like, CD, there's a lot of people that I respect. Like, I've been listening, I listen to Sleuth, and I like Sleuth. I think Sleuth is, like, he's been really awesome to watch along the way. And I've grown to really like him. And he makes me think about things in a respectful way. And there's a new guy, Thomas Frost. There's your boots on the ground, like, there's your boots on the ground. He's doing a great job, and I'm not sure how he put up with that chick, but I would have walked off. Like, if you're not going to be able to talk about ballistics and guns because of whatever, personal feelings you have on this political, social issues that our country tries to make guns into, and whatever, you just don't care and you find it boring to literally just, like, it's a part of the case. Hello? Like, dumb. God. Like I said, this is going to be in there, but I think I was pretty much where I wanted to at least read to get you guys started. Yeah, so obviously, like, I try to save my folks, like, all you guys that have been here, how I run things. I just, I don't just pass out the forks I give to things, the care that I give. And so none of the, like, bullying or the dumb comments that, people make, like, I don't care. Like, I don't want it. My mods all know, don't block those. I do not care whatever people say. I do not want people bullying other people or talking bad about the families. I will not tolerate that. And that's what my mods are here for, but meow. But yeah, I just thought I felt like he got bullied. I mean, she literally said, you remind me of a mass shooter sometimes, like a school shooter. And that just kind of really pissed me off. But there are things about her that I like, but I don't think that, like, I don't see a world where I could get down with somebody that would even, like, treat like him like that, or be like, True Crime Design is an absolute wretched human being. I don't know how she sleeps at night, and misbehaved, and all of these, and obviously y'all know how I feel about Greeno, but just think about it. Just think about it. Like, just when you stop and you think about it, like, yeah, it was like, it took me, I was like, I had to rewind. I was like, did I just hear that right? Like, I don't know how he stayed so nice. I would have been like, F you. Like, like, okay, there's my my sister and I mean, we are polar opposites as far as our political beliefs. Obviously, my stance on I carry. I am I knew exactly what Thomas was talking about with the where you what she brought up. She brought it up, and then she was like, he explained it, and then she was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I just zoned all of that out. I didn't. Nobody in the chat was probably even listening to you either. Like, what? Hey, Vid, how are you, Professor Pug? Thank you. Hey, Mayo, how you doing? Hey, Jamie. Yeah, was that just like so ridiculous? And here he was like super sick and like, I don't know. I just was like, no. Oh, like obviously you guys know how I feel about all the channels that I've always supported. Like they know and but there's just these wild ones, and there's more wild ones coming in behind them, and more people think they got it figured out and that they have a right to just, you know, it's what are you investigating? Like, why isn't Richard Allen enough? Like, why isn't it enough? I don't know. Like, he's been charged with 2 counts of murder. With the aggravating section 2 of kidnapping, because that seems reasonable. I don't know that for sure, but there's a long list that you could look at, and he is charged with intentional killing of another with forethought and malice. Like, that's the rules of homicide in Indiana. He's not been charged with, people are saying that it wasn't premeditated. Well, you can just discount that person right there, because he's charged with murder right now. Right now, he is charged with murder, intentional killing of another. There's a whole slew of people that are involved. Like, I don't know, probably my naivete, but I really thought that, people were going to calm down and like just kind of rein in all the involvement with all these other people. And, like, I get it. The Kagan Klein stuff, and like, obviously the Anthony shots, and, that's not an unreasonable path to a theory. It's just not mine. Like, I don't know. I don't try to like. I did that episode to try to say my piece. But again, remember, like, we're just people. I don't have a degree in any of this. I've just been that nerd at the library that went and sat in the forensic psychology and the true crime and the all of that in the library my whole life, because I didn't go to school. Like, I had like 5 years of just library time. And that's what I have. I have dyslexia. Like, it seems to help me out with this kind of stuff, because I can see things, like, as far as like patterns and memorizing information really easily. And obviously, like, court documents and things like that are easy for my brain to understand. Now, some of the other stuff, like, not so much, but especially with the numbers. But I think it's pretty clear that hopefully that rumor will stop being spread with the whole $400,000 appraisal. Like, 44,200. That's it. Like, it's just anything to, like, you don't take it. your wildest theory and then try to make all of the information and data that you have and you know, like your case fit. Like this, remember, just remember that simplest solution is the path to. Are there outliers? Yeah, like there are, but that's not. Those are the exceptions to the rule. Okay, that's all I'm trying to get people to like think about when they're starting to see new people coming into true crime. Like just so, because somebody says something doesn't mean that it's correct. Fact check people. Like, and so like this stupid ass rumor by is the one that started it. Crime Pursuit podcast. He knows where. It was in the Facebook group. People tried to tell him. I tried to tell him. People tried to tell him, no, you got the wrong person. The whole revenge theory involving Derek, you know, it's already had the same exact story. I've been in these groups and follow this case since the beginning. The revenge story has always, he's been the common all freaking couples. Like, that's the revenge theory. Like, Ashley Garth. All right. Okay, so this case here, let me get rid of these freaking sticky notes. Can't see it. Let me read this case number to you so that you can go and find this case and then you can read it for yourself. It is 08, which stands for Carroll County, D01. That's Carroll County's code. Dash, so 08D01 dash 1504. That's the date. April 15th. And then you have dash CM. That stands for criminal misdemeanor. And the K, like it was the, you've got 4 zeros and then a 7. And that is the way that they're all filed. So it's the 77th case in this county that was filed. So she lives at, in this one, it starts out that she lives in an apartment, okay? Remember this case, this is April of 2015, okay? She lives in an apartment. As of the party case details. But if you dig a little deeper, you'll see where she ended up. Not this apartment. In 2015, no less. Okay, so she was charged, her charges for this case was possession of paraphernalia, speeding, and driving while suspended. So in October, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but in October of 2015, she took a plea by agreement and finds the defendant guilty of the crimes to which she has entered her plea of guilty. It is ordered and adjudged that the defendant is 22 years of age. The court enters judgment and conviction and sentences the defendant as follows. Count 1, 365 days sentenced, 365 days suspended, 365 days probation. Okay? So that's important. So this was their plea deal. Like 65 days, but they suspended the 365 days of incarceration, and then they gave her 365 days of probation initially. Okay? And it is to be supervised. Okay? So then we get to February 17th of 2016. Notice of violation of probation. So remember, she's on probation. She has things that she's got to do. She's got to pass drug tests. She's got to do what she's supposed to do. Like, she's not supposed to be doing any drugs, you know. She's got to mind, and she's on probation. So she's violating. Melissa Chapman, we all got to know Melissa Chapman over because of Greeno's 20 freaking episodes of cases that rat's been involved in since 2005, and that's only because that's when he turns 18. So she's ordered to appear. They're giving her the notice. The warrant is issued with no bond. So in February 25th of 2016, they're like, you forked up. A warrant is writ, and the amount of body and person is issued. And there was a second petition filed as well. And then a second warrant. And on March of 2016, the defendant appears in the custody of the sheriff of Carroll County. She denies the allegations of the first and second petition for revocation of probation. So then we go over to, they have a hearing on this, and the defendant appears in custody, and the court finds that the defendant violated the terms of her probation. The defendant is remanded to the custody of the sheriff of Carroll County. Okay. And then there's a third revocation that's coming in from the probation department. And then, so she appears in custody, and here's the order that's issued. On March 16th of 2016, defendant admitted that she violated her probation, and as alleged in the first and second petitions for revocation of probation filed on February 17th of 2016 and February 25th of 2016, respectively. Defendant further admits that she violated her probation as alleged in the third petition for revocation of probation filed on March 28th of 2016. The court now orders the defendant to serve the balance of her sentence imposed on October 19th of 2015, 365 days, less any credit, time earned. The court finds the defendant is entitled to credit for time served in confinement from March 4th, 2016, together with the Class A good time credit. The balance of the remaining executed sentence shall be served on... Okay, so here they are giving her a break again, right? Because just read what I read earlier about her sentence being that, they gave her 365 probation instead of making her serve it in the jail. And so now they're cutting her another break, and they're putting her on, what's it called? I just lost the name of it. In-home detention. Okay. So to be monitored through Carroll County in-home detention. Defendant's in-home detention shall be served at the home of her paternal grandmother. And then it states her address, which is not that apartment. So this is where she was living, okay? And then the defendant is to have no contact with a whole list of people. And then we go to, literally, here we go to June. In-home detention coordinator files memorandum with the court advising of the defendant's positive drug test. So she's on in-home detention. She fails a drug test. She tests dirty for a drug test. And then guess what? They make her serve her time. And then her grandmother, who her son is already living with, she already has guardianship, because Ashley's a piece of crap. And she didn't lose her son over snitching on Derek. She failed a drug test. Go find it yourself. It's literally right here. That's it. There's no Ashley Garth ratting on Derek. That's not why she had to serve time in jail. She did not lose her son. He stayed right where he wanted to do drugs. She got caught, and she had to serve her sentence. It's that simple. That's it. End of it. There's no revenge plot that involves Ashley Garth and Garrett Kurtz avenging something with Ashley Garth over her son. She did it to herself. She violated probation because she tested dirty on a drug test. Done. Simple. Over. But it never seems to be over. just with everything else, there's 30,000 things in the water. There's dolls and life size. Like, where would all of this shit come from? Just think about that reasonably, like, where's that coming from? Like, blow ups? Like, you have to have somewhere to run power to those. Like, what? The helicopter footage is being misused. Like, it's too far away. Like, there are things that you can be like, ooh, like maybe like privately, but like to come out and say like, oh my God, I see a body in the water. That's irresponsible. And it's more than likely not correct. Like, yeah, the water was high on the 13th. The water was a little bit lower on the 14th. Like, arguing shit. These were not found in the water. Like, how would that be moved and staged? Like, why does it have to be like, why can't we just believe what the little facts that we know? Like, why is it so hard for people to just like, I don't know. I gotta go to the bathroom and I'll be right back. And then I'm gonna hit the chat and we're gonna see what you guys all have to say. And then we'll just kind of talk about it. And like, hey, come at me. Like, I love a good debate. Like, I live for those, I grew up with my daddy debating, and like, there's a good way to do it, and that's one thing that I do appreciate about like, some of the different channels that I support, the ones that I'm like memberships of. Like, debating is good. It's healthy. And like, I don't care about, like, this isn't, it pisses me off and it disappoints me, but it doesn't surprise me. People, we don't know most of the people like in here. They could literally be all like, we have no clue. But I'm just, yeah, I just get to the point where I'm just like, yeah, I've like had it. And then once it's been laid upon, this is where it was what we end up with. Do I think that I'm like 100% right? That I know. Obviously I don't. Like, I respect all of the people that think that Kegan Kline and, are like that connection there. Now, everything else, like, I don't think I see it. Like, and I don't even think I see it with him. Like, I don't know. It just, but again, like, that's just my opinion. Like, and what are those like? Everybody knows they're like butts. Hey, James. And yeah, it's like a flood zone, and all of a sudden it's just become this big to-do. Like, I don't get it. I literally don't get it. Like, I don't know. But yeah, but the water was not up there. Like, it wasn't up to there. So it wasn't like their bodies were in the water. I don't know what they're trying to like postulate there. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand. And yeah, I know I'm going to piss some people off. And just try to be reasonable. Just try to think logically. Just like, and then read that book. And then ask who's your cold cases if he's still in here. He's probably long gone. But I think it's called How to Solve a Cold Case. And I think that, like, he's read a lot of that, and I'm like, man, I need to get that. Like, that is such a good thing. And the one with for Billy Jensen, To Catch a Killer. You guys will love it. Like, it's a really good book, I'm telling you. But it kind of gives you a blueprint of how to be an effective true crime sleuth. Because that's what we are, like. All right, I gotta go to the bathroom, and I'll be right back. Still forgot to get a drink. Sorry I left your comment up there this whole time. All right, let's see what the chat has to say. Let me say that again without the typo. You can clearly see that the water had not breached the bank when watching the video. It was a little higher the day before, but I'm telling you, like, it wasn't 50 feet, approximately 50 feet off of the bank. Like, they crossed it. Like, I don't know, like, there was a theory of, I don't even know where I heard it, of like them going down, like him taking the girls across Wilson Bridge and then all the way back. Anyone that has been out there knows that that is like, that's not it. Like, that's not it, and the most plausible, what's the most sensible thing? Exactly what Gray Hughes has been showing this whole time. Like, right there, like they crossed right there where it is, even at its highest, it was still more shallow than deeper parts of Deer Creek. There is what's that called? Inland, like almost like a sandbar, but not like, I don't think it's called that. I don't know what it's called, but, and then I've physically been there. There is a place that where the crime scene is, that it flattens out. Most of along Deer Creek is a ridge of some sort of height, 2 feet, 3 feet, 30 feet, all along Deer Creek there. And what it looks like to me is what's the most sensible thing is they crossed the creek there. They probably tried to run. Unfortunately, they didn't make it. They were murdered, and then their bodies, like that said, were likely, this is an FBI agent and all the other people, they think that the bodies were moved and staged. Clothes getting snagged on a fall, like a dead tree, in the roots of the tree, seems very plausible. There were things coming in on the scanner, and everybody, oh my God, the other one. Want to hold on to what, can't even remember his name, but he was calling out that the bodies were found in the water, like that's just, and then you can hear Tobe on the scanner say there's no confirmation of that whatsoever. No, there's no confirmation of that. By the time the chopper that everybody's looking at, like, they're looking for evidence, and there are articles that they say we're going to need another like evidence bag to put evidence. They found something while they were searching the creek, which, if you're a killer, like, if you think there's evidence on something, putting it in water, like, that is a sensible thing to think. But to think that they were like, I don't know. It just, I don't get it. I don't understand why it's like got to be so much. Why you got to do so much. Hey, Lady Monet. Is only for reference about crossing it and evidence traveling downstream. Yeah, like, yeah, the creek obviously flows to the Wabash. So, like that's not rocket science. That's not breaking news. And then the levels of the water are important. The how cold the water was is important. But you also got to remember that their adrenaline, their body heat is already high, and getting across that amount of space is not that big of a deal. Like, when I was out there, we watched a deer and her baby, and the current was strong, and it was even higher. When I was there, the water was even higher than it was on the 13th, and it still did not breach the bank or anywhere near where they were found. Like, that's, whatever. I just can't. Yeah, I think that Ron Logan, I don't think he was a good person. Like I don't. He did some stupid stuff. But guess what? He's not been arrested like Richard Allen has been. He he's what we have. Like, why isn't that enough? I don't know. Thank you, Incog. And Incognito Society, she has a playlist. She literally went through every single aspect of this case. Not all of the stuff that we see, but the media coverage, the press conference. She went through all of it. It's a great playlist. It's awesome to go back to for reference. She has all of the videos in a playlist, and then she has her videos that she did. She covered it for months and months and just systematically went back through it. Like, it's beautiful. There is no there's no conjecture, there's no rumors and speculation and all the shit you see. Like, it's just this is the things, and then to having a reasonable conversation about them, because she is a reasonable person. Yeah, like, I mean, I guess, but again, it's just not a sensible. It's not Occam's razor, like that's where, like, I just, could it be true? Yeah, like a lot of things can be true. We don't know, but yeah, I think what I Love Marvels is saying, like, I get that. I just don't think it is the like she says, I don't think that's what happened, but like she's trying to figure out like what people are going, like where they're going. Yeah, same girl. Yeah. Who gets along? Hey Todd, how are you? Hey James. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, it is. It's depressing. It's just like, you can't do it. Like, this is there's. I thought Thomas did a great job of staying level-headed. Lisa says the water level map is irrelevant because you can see the creek in the helicopter village. Yep. Yeah. Hey Jamie. Which one? Oh, about the Ashley Garth. Yeah, like that. That's not it. Like, I read it. Like, I gave you the case number. You guys can go look it up. Like, um, I don't have any dog in the fight. I think she's I've seen her. Like, I've had to be around her. Like, she is, how, like, you meet people and, there's just this like you get this like, yeah, like some like of just some people hide their psychopathy better than others, and they can especially do it online. And then when you meet them in real life, like I've said, it is, in my opinion, when I met Greeno the one time life, there was an immediate, like, me personally, this is my opinion, it was a bad, whatever you want to call it, vibe. Like, I was cordial. I was nice. This is not about me. You know, this is about, we're here because this family's son was murdered and this family's daughter was murdered by these delinquents, you know, and like, I don't know. I just thought like, and that, you know, and the same with like Garrett, when he came in, you could immediately tell this, like, his energy, his like, he's just that hot tempered, just like you know, and you should have seen him in that court of trying to like bully the the defense attorney, especially because she was cross-examining him. He testified against Ashley Garth, and I mean, he just thought, and then the way he looked at the families, like, I'm here to help you out, and kept smiling at him like he was doing them a favor by testifying against her. Disgusting. They're vile human beings, and guess what? They weren't on drugs in court. Like, that's just who they are. Yeah, do drugs play a part in a lot of ridiculousness that goes on in murders? Absolutely. But there are also plenty of drug addicts that don't go out and murder a bunch of people. You know? Like, they don't go hand in hand. It is a high risk, low reward of getting hooked on drugs, and not much good comes out of it. Like, I've seen it in my own family. It's like the faces of death every time that I don't go around them anymore because it's just too much. But like years ago when I would, it's just like, how in the world, like, meth addicts have a particular look about them and they literally look like they're decomposing in front of your very eyes. It is the weirdest thing. Like, and then heroin addicts have a waxy pallor, and it's really easy to spot, especially when you grew up with like those people being in your family, you know. Like, I was always like, I wish, you know, when my kids and I would go to things, and be like, I wish I could be like, why does Uncle not have any teeth? And I'm like, yeah, I'd love to say, you know, get the sugar bugs off, but it was like, don't smoke crack, you know, like, don't do meth. Like, if you want to keep your teeth, don't do drugs. Like, these were the conversations that I had to have. And I think it taught me, it kept me from ever wanting to try any of that stuff, because I'd never want to steal from my mama. I never want to steal from my mom, my dad, abandon my children and let the state raise them. Like, I didn't want that. And like, I saw that and I made a different choice. And a lot of these people that are in the Kokomo crew and all that, like, it's too much. It's not, I've been down that road. Like, if you find me on Facebook in the groups, like, you'll see where I entertain that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, but then you just kind of come to a point where you're just like, man, like, this, just be reasonable. And then we had an arrest. Somebody was arrested. Hey, GP. Yeah. Yeah, everybody wants to make him their project. And I was talking with Hoosier Cold Cases and a few others, Chaotic, Beauty and Crime, and a few other, Ivy. And like we were talking about the hybristophilia and the likelihood that could be going on with the people that still support Greeno. I'm sorry, but I would just be like, he's just embarrassing. I'm gonna leave you with something funny, okay? I gotta send it to my, oh, my iCloud storage is full. Oh Lord. Oh, this is great. This is just proof of like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, this guy, like, just go do something else. Go crochet. Go do something else. He does not belong in the true crime community. He doesn't deserve any more chances. He's had a ton. And the fact that he's still doing the same shit, still threatening women, still, and then people just like, oh, but he makes good videos. No, he doesn't. Not really. Anybody can get on Power Director and Canva and like do the same stuff. Charismatically clever makes awesome videos. Like there's Thomas Frost. Like there's all kinds of people. Like we don't need a reenactment. It's disgusting. But I'm not seeing any questions really. Wow. Yeah, he does that, Matt. Like that's what he does is, like we all watched him do it with Hoosier Cold Cases. Like that's just another example of it. Like and Chaotic Beauty. Like he did Incognito and Chaotic so dirty during when they were working with him in the podcast. And they obviously had a falling out. If anyone's met Chaotic Beauty, like she's not about it. Like she is one of the best people I know and one of the toughest people I know. And she ain't about it. And so her and Hoosier Cold Case, I didn't go because I know myself too well. And knowing that he would be there and he would act like the immature person that I think he is, that he would immediately accost and get a camera in your face. Look what it's laughable. Like go find the footage of when he accosted Kyra Bowings. I don't remember his name, but her boyfriend at Flora, um on the there was like, I don't know, maybe like a fair or something. But Greeno, he's got his camera and he's like filming them and their kids, and the guy, I can't remember his name, he was like, stop filming us. And of course, Greeno, like, knows his rights and everything. But so that guy like stepped to him. It's hilarious. Immediately starts yelling for the police. Like they're just standing around waiting to help him out when he gets himself into a pickle with a real man. Uh, but yeah, he had to say, like, at that thing, and I didn't go. I was like, I'll meet you guys at the Maya birthday, like at the event that we had for Amaya. I'll meet you there. I am not going to that. This It's not about creator YouTube drama. And like, I don't trust my own temper to be accosted by him and have to like play nice because we're decent people. And it would be ridiculous to make an event for murdered children and the families are there to make it into this big, fight, like word fight, whatever. But they go. And what does he do? Of course, he immediately comes at them with a camera, and they were able to. Um, Chaotic was like, yeah, no, and just walked away. And then, why does my screen keep? Am I really choppy? My screen keeps like Destin, like, I don't understand what, like, I mean, just being real, like, I don't understand what you've been trying to do. Like, um, so now you see the light, like, because I thought you did before. You'd asked me to come on your podcast. You said you had stuff. And then as soon as Greeno got out, you were over there talking mad shit. So I was just trying to like figure out like, did you come to a awakening with your time with him? Like, did he do something that turned you like, you know what I'm saying, like back, like going back to your original way that you were feeling about him before he got out and was all, Rico Suave, what he thinks he is. I'm just wondering. I didn't mean to come off like I'm not like upset or anything. I think I came off a little strong there, but like I was just curious because he's probably done something to Dustin to turn him back around to like now the stuff. Yeah, I'm not saying it's not, and that's why I was like trying to go back and like just see if there was something. That's all I'm asking. Um, oh, really, Frank? Flint Farmer. He is charged with the murder of a beautiful girl. Jerry is her, like that is just Karina McClurkin. It's just a very sad case. And another one that people have been trying to like put another people in, and it's a possibility, but like right now, Flint Farmer has been charged with her murder, and it's just such a senseless death. But yeah, no, I hadn't seen that. I know that there's a hearing coming up soon. There's like all of my cases are all in like April and May. I'm having trouble keeping them all straight. Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, but I knew that he made that up. Like in my opinion, he lied about that whole thing. Even if you were in Doug Rice's group, you would have been able to see the conversation coming in from Kay Weber, and like he was trying to say that he sat down and had coffee with her. She took pictures of him to because he was trespassing on her property. Like Kay Weber knew that lady, knew the actual story. And if you go back, like it's the same as what we know now. And he's wanting to claim that like the lady lied to him. Well, of course, just like all the other people, it's someone else. He never owns anything. Like it's not rocket science. Like he is. But I thought I was going to leave you with a little. Just a little treat. So here we go. If you like Greeno, you might want to leave. I gotta pull it up first, sorry. I gotta pull it up. Oh, hit the wrong button. Oh, I'm sure, dude. Like there's a lot that I know that I've never even shared because like I said I wouldn't, you know, but this thing with Greeno just ended up like snowballing into a you know, just the pattern, you know, the pattern of I'm not going to get into it. But here we go. Just a little throwback picture here. So ridiculous. Oh, I got all these other things. So, you guys see this here? See if I can zoom in a little bit. Let's check this out. This is really so posted by Anthony Greeno. There's his account, April 29th of 2016. Here he is. Here's a bookshelf. See the little sticker there, like it's a bookshelf in a store. He's superimposed himself onto this greatest people of all time. You know, here's more copies of it. I can't. It says Agent Greeno. There's that fake badge. I made it. I could have bought it for like $95. Like the exact replica, but I did it on a live show. But yeah, there. I'm sorry. If that don't just tickle you, I don't know. New. Oh, greatest people of all time. Like, you know you're a narcissist when, just my opinion, but you know you're a narcissist when you do something like this. Like, come on. Like, get out of here. I'm sorry. Somebody sent that to me and I like immediately lost it, like laughed like so hard. That's probably the best super chat I've ever got. Yeah, I'd like to try to find that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's just, it was like somebody, when someone said to me, it was like immediate. Like I pulled a Ruckus, like when Ruckus gets laughing, like his cheek looks like he's gonna fall back in his chair. I literally was like, I can't, like, how did I miss this? He dreamed a dream. I mean, it's like ridiculous. And people believe him. Like, they believe him. I don't know. It's only people. Wish.com. No, it's only available in Canva. Oh my gosh. I get to giggle. So you can buy the book. That's my favorite. Oh, you did say that I needed to shut up about him and that like I was in the wrong. So you did say that. I heard it. Hey, Swifty. How are you? Oh. Yeah, but see, like, okay, Dustin, just consider this. Like, if you're into like news and like reporting, when you catch someone in a lie and it is a verifiable, like, he lied about, let me just pick one. It's gonna be so hard to narrow it down. Like the Cheyenne. Like she came forward and was like, that's not my account. When you went to the account that he was claiming he was having interaction with, it was literally like he didn't delete the things that identify that account as being his. So he's having a conversation with himself and trying to say that it's Cheyenne. And then Cheyenne comes out and was like, no. Then what does he do? Of course, Greeno won't ever be wrong, even though he was caught in a bold-faced lie. Like, he's been caught in so many lies on both cases. And so when someone lies once, a blatant, intentional, like, not a, like, like, just when they claim a video like he did with True Crime Daily, the Hannah Wilson, he literally dubbed his voice into True Crime Daily's entire video and then claimed it for his own. Like, when someone does something like that, how can you believe anything else they say as a news reporter? Like, that's like my biggest thing with him. Like, I know, and the people that have been around the longest, we know what Greeno has done and said in the Delphi case that has just been horrible. But like, just one thing that you can like prove that he's lied about, and then how do you believe anything else, especially when you know that that lie was worked on? Like, he put time into making up that lie, and then he intentionally put it out as a fact. He admitted that he did that with the scanner, which was super weird. Like, but he's always got an excuse. It's always someone else's fault. He needed to teach that lady in the group a lesson. That sounds familiar. I'm sure a lot of his girlfriends have heard that. How he trying to blame, he's tried to blame every single one of them. Like, I read all the court documents. And then guess what? It happened to Crime Geek too. And he tries to blame her. It's her. If you wouldn't have get me mad, like, once someone lies, like, that's it. Their credibility is shot. So they're no use to the true crime community. I'm gonna invite that one. Thank you, Lori. And oh, oh, did you see it? We got Professor Pug. Here is Smel's great coverage of all the creeps out there victimizing innocent people. Yeah, yeah. Hey, Kimosabi. Well, Laura Ann, I can't find your super chat. Arrow Sarge, hey, how you doing? Thanks for becoming a member. Bidding Queries is a member. Appreciate you guys. You know, I've had this conversation before, but I kind of view the memberships of just like if people want to support what I'm doing and the content I'm making. Like, I work a part-time job like weekly, and then I have other like I have three jobs basically because I'm just over the one that I've done my whole life. Like I just, I just want to do things like something different. It makes me the most money, but it's like at what cost, you know? And so I have two other jobs that like I make money off of those, and then I do this. And, like it is hard to manage four jobs and have like a family and, and like, so yeah, the super chats are definitely appreciated. The memberships are definitely appreciated. And, those are just like, if you support what I'm doing and the cases I cover and the light I shine on things, like I do appreciate your memberships and for sticking with me. I know that I don't, like do a bunch for my members, but I don't have any time. And I'm so anal about like when I do cover something that like I just end up hours that I spend because I don't want to put out misinformation. I don't want to put out like things that are going to lead to speculation and rumor. Like but Professor Pug's a member, Vid Inquiries. Thank you guys. Um, hey, B-Rad. How are you doing? You're a changed man, eh? Well, thanks for being here. And thank you too, Mayo. And I saw Kai in here earlier. Appreciate you guys. Ivy, what was rude? And thank you, mods. Hopefully you didn't have to do too much work tonight. Like I said, anything goes if it's directed at me. Don't delete it. Don't care. Let it fly. If it's directed at another person and you view it as bullying, obviously take care of that. But if it's at me, keep it. Just don't even worry about it. I am a big girl. I don't frankly, you know, like what there's a few people that like, you know, like it just, I don't care about what people think of me. I just don't, you know, like the people that have gotten to know me and that have watched me be the same person today as I was when I first started this, whether it was 2 or 3 years ago, I don't remember. I think it was like 2020, but I'm not sure. But like, I don't change. There is no chameleon. There is no, you know, this is just who I am. So, you know, like when you know who you are and you are like confident in your self worth, and then all of that other shit, like it just doesn't affect you, you know, like, but I would be more affected if my chat was out of line and bullying, say, the shit that's happening to Randy from As Above, So Below, you know, like, that kind of thing. No tolerance for that. If he came into my chat, like, that's not someone that, like, I get, you know, he stood up for me. Thank you. I don't need his help. And frankly, I think that when he goes all buck wild, and the bullying of Randy, and all the other stuff, it actually has the opposite effect on the truth about Greeno. Like, I'm not saying that he's not telling the truth about Greeno, but when you're reckless and you threaten to kill like all kinds of people, like, yeah, the videos are deleted, but I still remember them. And like, and you do all these things, it diminishes the credibility. So like, I'm not going to align with someone like that. And when you go and like blindly support someone like that, like, you're not helping it's you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not credible. And for someone to make videos about Randy, like, every time you're going to get a comment from me. Like, every time I'm going to bring you up. Like, every time. Because there is a special place in my heart for Randy. And if you bully him, you're a piece of shit. Simple as that. Sorry. Like, sorry, not sorry. Right. Like, just, yeah. And so, you know, when he does all that shit, it diminishes any kind of credibility that he has. Like, just like a wild card, you know? Like, this, he's put out some good things about Greeno that are I don't agree with them. Like, I don't think people should be going around and calling him the Delphi killer. The Delphi killer's been caught. Like, he's named Richard Allen, allegedly. Like, but we will find out when it's adjudicated in a court of law. And, you know, like, so, never thought I'd have to stand up for Greeno. Let him clip that. I'm sure he will. Oh, look, Elle's standing up for me now. No, just remember that photo you saw. Yee. Yikesies. Friendly advice to everyone. The enemy of your enemy is not always your friend. Let me read it again. Friendly advice to everyone. The enemy of your enemy is not always your friend. Yes. Exactly, Diamond Eyes. Yeah, it really is bullshit. Hey, True Crime Recliner. I know, right? Doesn't it? Thanks, Diamond Eyes. Oh my gosh, it's 10:32. I was supposed to be off here at 10. I bet my kid's out there fuming that she can't get in her room. Thanks, True Crime Recliner. You'll never guess where I got it. BTK never did anything to me. But how can you trust what he claims he knows about Delphi or Flora when you know that he is 100% a liar? That's the crux of it. Hey, Ray. What's up? All right, guys. I understand that, but he doesn't have any. So what you just said was you were able to find all of the information that you got from him from a more credible source. Because, see what I'm saying there? So, again, like, he's unnecessary. Like, you just proved it with your own fact checking. Like, he's not necessary. If you can find a more credible source to use, then 100% of the time you're going to want to use credibility over all the fakeness that he is. He is 100% lying about the audio he claims to have of Randall. Yeah. And the family giving him the fake 911. Yeah. Yeah. Like, this. Yeah. So, again, I don't understand why you would be willing to compromise the integrity of journalism and to have someone that you already don't need him because you already have the sources and the credibility and the ways to fact check what he said. If you already have that, then there's no need for him. And like, there's no need for him in the true crime community because of all of the grifting and conning and money that he's stolen and all of the crap that he's done. Like, he is, you know, like, I read all that stuff about how before it was the true crime community, it was the bounty hunting community, and they literally all got together and were like, we got to get this guy's got a warrant, like, we got to get them to get him out of here. He is literally gonna get somebody killed because he's not a real bounty hunter. And like, the whole thing where he tried to minimize it, like, he kicked in someone's door. And then he proceeded to go, like, it's in the affidavit that I read, like, he proceeded to go and, like, tell people he was going to kill them if they told on him. He was lying to the cops, like, still trying to get away with it. And he got caught, and it was a lot bigger deal than what he made it out. I read it all. It's court transcripts. Like, you know, it's just, ugh, too much. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, nothing happened to me. Like, don't feel sorry for me. Like, she probably won't, like, I don't know, just personally, like, I am not, uh, yeah, like, he can't do anything to me. Like, he's done some things, like, obviously, nobody wants to be doxxed. Even though I have done all the things that I've done about him, I don't lie about him. So there's no libel. There's no defamation. I'm reporting the facts about a public figure, and there's nothing that he can do about it. Like, it is what it is. His name and his image has not been copyrighted, like he likes to claim. Like, and so it's just like, if he's going to continue to lie, then I'm going to continue to tell the truth about him. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I hope that you enjoyed tonight. I hope that you share it. Um, yeah, that's not on me, Dustin. That's not on me. That's not my cross to bear. If each person in this world is responsible for their choices, and he doesn't get to put, if they continue to do this, I'm gonna, then something's gonna happen to them, like what he keeps doing. He's been doing it. He's done it to me, he's done it to others. It's like, if you keep doing this, I'm gonna lose it, and you're gonna end up hurt. Like threat, intimidation is what he does. And yeah, like, that's not my, I am not going to give two forks, if he, but the thing is like, his actions are solely his. They are nobody else's responsibility. They're nobody else's fault but his. And, like, I have thought about, there isn't much that I don't do that I don't have a purpose behind it, and have categorically thought it out on paper, in my head, and with my friends. And yeah, it's very calculated, and I just flat out refuse to let him intimidate me into silence. That's it. Yeah, I have learned in almost 40 years of being a decent human that society doesn't work if everyone shoves their head under the sand when things get tough and bad comes around. Yeah. Hey, Con Johnnery, how are you doing? Yeah. Yeah, it's about that fork and Greeno. We talked about him over there a little bit with LA. Like, he's just real, he threatens that if I don't shut up about him, he's gonna hurt somebody, and then not supposed to intimidate me into silence, because the worst thing that you can do, I don't want to say the quote because I don't want to say evil, but like, with a person that I believe that he is to tell the truth. The truth is a threat to the con. And so if you can, and then that he preys upon victims of murder, especially when he claims all the shit that he claims about his own family is not even true. Like, literally one night, he got on, I have the video, like, he got on YouTube and he was crying, and his dad died, and he never made things right with him, you know, and just sobbing, and everybody just lapped it up. His dad ain't dead. Neither one of them. Like, they're not dead. Like, that was a lie. Just like when he wrote to the judge, remember that? When I read that? Where he wrote to the judge and was like, because of you keeping me in here, judge, not because of what he did to get into jail, but it's the judge's fault for making him do his sentence. It's all your fault that my girlfriend, my pregnant girlfriend, didn't want to live without me, couldn't do this life without me, and she wrecked her car and killed my baby and my girlfriend, and it's your fault, judge. She's not dead. Neither is that child. That's the same human being all the way back then, and he pulls the same shit now. Like, how can anyone watch what he tried to turn into this the protective order hearing? Like, how could anybody turn around and be like, "Oh yeah, like, oh my gosh, it was a courtroom full of women. They definitely ganged up on you. Get the fuck out of here." Like, this is a court of law. There is certified chirps because he was in jail when he was literally, and he keeps saying, how can I stalk somebody from jail? Well, like, you were sending other people. You told someone. That is the whole crux of the whole thing. And then he was telling, and then he takes 2 other jackbags, and they're the 3 that are breaking this down. Like, hello. It's just, yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah, he literally, I don't have permission to share them yet, but I'm definitely gonna ask. But yeah, he got in Discord and just caused a, like he thought the Delphi hashtag Delphi. I don't understand Discord, so like I don't know if that's what it's called, but he thought it was his tab to, like, because he's the Delphi king or whatever the fuck he thinks he is. But then everybody started telling the truth about him, and someone put in the recording of where he said the N-word with a hard R and was like, I left that a long time ago, and then he said that he would beat her ass worse, and then denied the other things that he said in there, and then he comes out and like, that was a fake account. I'm like, no, buddy, watch it again. Like, she proved it was your account. And then he was like, oh, well, that, and then it was like, duh, of course it's my account. Some guy that, of course, he's dead, like, he hacked my account and did all that, which makes 0 sense. And LA told him so. And was like, yeah, he's a cop, so he was like, like, just shut up. You sound stupid. And, like, my friends are going to be the ones that come and arrest you. Like, you're a fool. And he comes back. He tells him that he can arrest him. He can't arrest anybody. Old Agent Greeno is not a thing. It doesn't exist. like literally, like, I can arrest you. Yeah, oh my god, this is too much. Yeah. All right, guys. Yeah. That's what he claimed. Yeah, no. I mean, it's absolute. It's just malarkey. Like he is just like, and that's the thing. As soon as I called him out on his lie, he turned it into he was gaslighting, which I hate that word. Like I want to come up with a different word right there. But then he like gaslighted and then turned it into, well, duh, somebody broke into my account, like, and they said all that stuff. Well, no, it's just a ridiculous lie, like which most of his are. Cool, Dustin. Hey, August. All right, guys, like I really gotta go. All right, have a good one.